catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say welcome to Storytime, and thank you for your patience. We appreciate you. I have the honor of having Dr. Lashonda Wofford, a woman of God, a wife, a mother, and a sister, and a grandmother. She's a proven CEO and a friend to many people. And this lady has founded multiple successful organizations, guys, multiple, okay? And including the Affirmative Collection of L&S Consulting Group, okay? The Wofford and Williams, Inc., doing business as Atkins Helping Hand. By the way, which is a 7-figure home care business. So if you're watching this and you are someone who wants to start a home care business, go get a pen and paper. Go get a pen and paper now while I'm doing this before she comes up so you can be prepared, all right? Because you are going to take some copious notes, all right? Now, this home-based business is in Hope Mills, North Carolina, all right? She's a proud owner of Empower Her Legacy and the Purposeful Collection, all right? Or Purposeful Collective. Let me make sure I say that right. She's also a community advocate and a personal development partner who has encouraged all people to bet on themselves. That's where you see this right here. You seen it when I showed you all bets on me. She's going to show you how to bet on you, okay, despite of all the ups and downs and everything that comes at you, all right? And she has a platform on Facebook, so you may have seen her face before, all right? Now, her newest venture, she's got 2. They're getting ready to come up spring of 2024, so you need to make sure you catch hold of her so you can get involved. She's got 2. And one of them is going to be the All Bets on Me Academy. She's going to have a session to tell you about that when she comes up. And the Atkins Global Diagnosis Laboratory Solution. Now, I heard a little bit of her story before, but I need y'all to hear her story. So I need you to get ready. Because through all her pains and all her struggles and everything that she's been through, you definitely want to hear how she survived and how she thrived and got to where she is. So I hear her and I see her. Let me bring her on up here. Dr. Wofford, are you with me?
Yes, I am with you. Hello, how are you?
I was looking, I said, wait a minute, I don't see no lights. I looked at my Facebook page. I said, wait a minute. So listen, we gave a sneak peek to the people over Instagram. If they not over here, shame on them because they just going to miss out. And I know we got some people in the room. I see someone named Dina. She said, yes. So she's here. She said,
yeah. Hey, Dina.
So Dina, put the word out. Let the people know we here. All right. Let the people know we here. I know that they coming and they're going to hear us. So, ladies and gentlemen, well, I want you to welcome to Storytime. If you've never been here before, you're here now, okay? We normally do this on Wednesdays at 8, all right? And we're definitely here, and we have some of her people that's going to come through too, okay? And we want you to take a good moment right now, and be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, all right? But most importantly, because you definitely don't want to let your people miss out, I need you to share this with about 5 of your friends. All right, all 7 of you out there right now, share this with about 5 friends. If you understand and you know what Dr. Wofford is all about, you understand the value of the word that's going to come out of her mouth, I need you to share this with 5 friends, okay? Okay. And I hear the young lady said, Empower Her Collective is here.
Yes.
Oh, so Sin's Love, she said she is here. So they're coming in the room. So keep coming, ladies. Keep coming. So now, before we really get into this, I wanted you to share a little bit. I always have my guests to talk a little bit about their background. And I was about to get totally moved. And I said, wait. I didn't see the light. I didn't see the red light. I said, the world needs to hear this right here. They have to hear this right here. So please, you started to tell us a little bit about where you're from, because I asked the question to all my guests to kind of give us the backstory, a little bit about who is Lashonda? Who is that little girl, Lashonda? Where was she born? Does she have a big family? A little bit about where you come from, and then I'll take you up to the point where you can talk about your teenage and your adult years.
All right, absolutely. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for inviting me to your platform to share my story. I think it's also important for people to know where I started, right? A lot of times people come in on the high of your life, or like chapter 50, but there was a 1 through 49. And so I'm always honored to share that. So I am Dr. Lashonda Wofford. I am originally from Goldsboro, North Carolina. I was born and raised in Goldsboro, North Carolina. I was in a two-parent home, my mom and my dad, and then there was my sister. So it was just four of us. Our family outside of that, we have a huge family outside of that. My mom has 11 sisters and one brother.
Wow.
And the brother ended up being adopted after trying so many times to have a boy. And then my dad comes from a smaller family with only five of them. So that was my, where I come from. We had a wonderful childhood. Ma and dad did everything in their power to make sure my sister and I had everything we needed. We were taken care of from every aspect of life. And I tell people to this day, they spoiled us. Um, and I'm 44 and I'm still spoiled. So that's the level of love and support that we got from our parents. We also witnessed the hard work, so my work ethic is not something that I made up, right?
Right.
That came from my parents. I saw them, the way that they worked hard to provide for us and make sure that we had, the best of whatever. So yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because a lot of times, Dr. Wolford, today, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of two-parent homes anymore. It's a lot of single parents raising their children. How much do you think that played a role for you? And how much did that really play a part in your upbringing and your success coming from a two-parent home? Do you think that contributed?
I definitely think that contributed a lot. Like, I am a daddy's girl at heart. Like, I have a close relationship with my mom as well, but just having my dad there and talking to other people who did not have that lets me know how blessed me and my sister, how blessed we were and how blessed we still are to
Right.
have our dad in our life. And he's always been there. Like, I can think back years and I see my dad everywhere. I do not have a memory ever of my dad not being there and not being that strong support and that father figure. So I definitely would say that yes, that played a role in my life and how I operate even to this day.
So let me ask you this, because with all that you do, empowering individuals to bet on themselves and everything you do with your academy, I'm sure that you have a way that you still show people how not to let that stunt their growth, and show them how not to get stuck in the woe is me, because they may have come from a one family home, and you show them how to still thrive anyway. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. Uh,
Okay, because I know people sometimes they get caught up in their situation and their background and where they came from, and they think that defines who they are. And so I can't wait till you really get into telling us about how you can help them to break that curse and to just change their dynamic of their lifestyle with that. But before we go there, so when you were a child, did you dream of being a business owner or entrepreneur?
no, actually, I didn't. When I was a child, I wanted to be a nurse. That
Wow.
that is what I wanted to be. And I thought that was what I was going to do. I wanted to be a nurse. But my parents wanted me to sing. that's not something that I, wanted to do as a career. Because there's just days when I don't feel like it. And when that's your job, that's how you provide for your family. You have to do it whether you feel like it or not.
Yes. Yes.
So
I
yeah,
can.
but
Wow.
being an entrepreneur was never that was not on my things to do list. That was not on my list of dreams. It wasn't.
Now you are very articulate and you are outspoken and you are one that is now on multiple stages. And so was you a shy little girl or was you always person that got up in the front of the classroom?
I wasn't shy, but I spoke when I needed to, if that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
So only when I needed to speak and speak up, then I would. Other than that, I really stayed to myself.
Wow. So now take us up to your teenage years and when you just found out that maybe you were going to finish school and do everything. And I don't know if you left home. Did you leave home? Did you leave North Carolina? And when you decided that you wanted to be an entrepreneur, and what was the first business? Because you have quite a few. What was that first one that you birthed?
Okay, so I never left North Carolina. I've always lived in North Carolina. Um, my family and I, we moved away from Goldsboro when me and my sister was younger. We moved to Durham and then Chapel Hill and then ended up in a small town called Pittsboro, North
Mm-hmm.
Carolina. But how I got into entrepreneurship is from a traumatic experience that I went through with my first husband, right? So when I was 21 years old, I married my high school sweetheart. Um, we had a child together at the age of 16. And at the age of 16, we did not feel like we were ready for marriage and all the other things that come with it, even though a lot of our family wanted us to, be married because we were getting ready to have a child together. I did not want, and he wasn't ready either. I did not want to have someone marry me just because I was getting ready to have his child. I wanted to be married because he wanted to marry me. He loved me. We wanted to build together. So at the age of 21, we decided to, okay, I think we're ready. We're going to go ahead and get married. And that's what we did. So our daughter was 5 years old at that time. And we got married. And I tell you, if there was a cloud 99, that's where we were. Like we were on cloud 99. Life was good. Everything was going great. We were building our lives together and taking care of our beautiful baby girl together. And
Wow. Now,
yeah.
before you drop the bomb, before you tell us, I got to
Mhm.
ask you this question. You said something very powerful. You said that you did not want him to marry you just because you got pregnant. In society today, a lot of parents push that. I remember back in the day when I came up, it was called like a shotgun wedding. And
Mhm.
I had a shotgun wedding, so I know exactly what you're talking about because I did it. And it
Mhm.
later ended up in divorce because I
Mhm.
realized it wasn't what I wanted. So I think that what you did was truly, truly an inspiration because I am a living witness to how that doesn't always work out just to marry someone because they got you pregnant. So
Yeah.
let's speak to that for a moment. And what would you say to any young women or young men out here that may be in that situation? And what kind of advice would you give them to consider to figure out if that's the route they need to go or not go?
Yeah, so the advice that I would give is the same advice that I followed. Like nobody gave me the advice, but I followed what my heart said, right? I followed what felt right to me and we talked together and made a decision that we thought was best for both of us. So the first thing is just because you get someone pregnant, guys, don't mean that that's the person that you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with.
Mm,
And women, just because you end up pregnant by someone, the same thing does not mean that that is the person that you're supposed to spend your life with. Do not let outside voices or outside influences talk you into doing something that you feel in your heart is not right. It doesn't matter how old we are, we have intuition. And that tells us our heart does something different when we know that it's not right. And so it's easy to give in to, the pressure when it's coming from, maybe your parents, in our case, it was older adults in our life, like aunts. So it's easy to give into that pressure because you feel like they're your elders and, you just want to not disappoint them. Right. But you can't do that. You can't do that. And even though I wasn't always a very talkative person, I always knew when to stand up for myself, and I never had a problem doing that, no matter who it was.
You're stepping on my toes right here. You're stepping on my toes. I'm telling you right now because
I'm sorry, but it's true. I'm sorry, but it's true.
But listen, let me tell you something. The day that I realized that this was not what I wanted, I went and I had a conversation. So I think what you're saying is very true. And I do believe that we should be able to, as parents, we should be able to be approachable if our children come to us and say they are in a situation, they got pregnant and they are not ready or whatever, or as parents, they need to have a conversation. Back in the day, the parents did believe, hey, you should be married. Some of them did. I happened to listen to mine. You didn't. And you stood up for yourself. I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't want to disappoint Dad, so I went ahead and did it. But in less than 5 years, I was divorced because I was not happy. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a powerful message in what you're saying, that we have to know what makes us happy and not just do what someone tells us to do. So I thank you for that message because I'm living proof that it does make a difference. I am still good friends with my ex now, but I said nothing personal. But I just realized I was doing this for my parents, not for me. You know, so what you're saying is so true. We do have to know how to do what we need to do for ourselves, even as adults. And as parents, we have to be real careful what we do when we ask our children to do things for us. That's right. Because they have to live with it. So this is so powerful. And I know that we're going to get into a lot of the things that come to business, but this is a powerful message, this right here. I had no idea that you were going to bring this up, but this is a very important piece of information for young ladies and young men and for parents, because parents sometimes tend to be overbearing and we want to have our children live through us and we tell them things and it's not fair. It's just not fair.
Right. Well, and I think for parents, I don't think they all mean harm. Like they give advice thinking that that's the best advice, right? And then that's what they were taught. So, of course they're going to, just pass down what they were taught. And, they didn't challenge or speak up for themselves. And in this situation, my parents understood. They wasn't the ones that was trying to force marriage. It was on the other side that was trying to force marriage. And so I'm just like, no, like that's not what we want to do.
So now you started to say that everything was beautiful, everything was going great, and then something happened. Something happened to shake your world upside down. What happened?
So my husband at the time, he's passed away now. I'm remarried, but my husband at the time was involved in a violent shooting. It was a robbery. And it left him paralyzed from the neck down. He had a trach, a ventilator, any kind of medical device that someone needs to sustain their life. If you name it, he had it, and it was required in order for him to live. So we decided to get married in August, and then in December, this happened to him. 5 days before Christmas. This is what we was faced with. And so, of course,
at 21.
Yes, ma'am. So, of course, this was a situation that I was not equipped for. Like I really just wasn't. it was the farthest thing away from my mind was thinking that our lives would be just flipped upside down in a matter. It wasn't even 24 hours.
Wow.
I had just seen him a few hours earlier that day, so it was less than 24 hours when our lives got flipped upside down. And so I get a call. I was at my parents' house because me and my mom and our daughter had went to do some last minute Christmas shopping. It was 5 days before Christmas. And I get a call at my parents' house. And at that time, you know, when you had like a private number and your name or your phone number didn't show up, you would have to say your name after the beep. So I answered the phone. And when my mother-in-law at the time said her name after the beep, I knew that something was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew something was wrong because she was calling. She never like called my parents' house. Never, ever. And so she basically, you know, told me that there had been a robbery and a shooting. And she said, you know, David was involved. And the last thing I heard her say was, I don't know if he's living. That was the last thing I heard her say. To this day, I still don't remember the rest of, you know, the conversation. I just remember me and my mom and my daughter jumping in the car, driving to Durham because that's where he was at Duke. And I remember my dad just, you know, kept calling on the way. But like the rest of the conversation, I don't remember. I went somewhere and I don't know where that place was.
So let me ask you this, because I know it's got to be hard to even recall and speak about this. And I thank you so much for sharing the story. I know that I created story time because we have stories and everybody can connect to it. So the reason why you share this story is because what is it that you want couples to know? Because a lot of times people get together as a couple and they're not ready for the unexpected. So what is the message that you really want people to understand that may get into a situation like this?
Yeah, so there's a couple of messages that I want people to take from this story. This is why I share it. The first thing is, when you marry someone, you marry them, right? Whether, and we say it in the vows, for good, for bad, rich or poor, in sickness and in health, right? When you repeat those vows, it does not tell you that it's going to be 20 years down the road and your spouse is going to need you in a way that you never imagined that they would. So that's the first message. The first point I want to get is, your vows are your vows. It doesn't matter if you are 21 or 51. So if I was old enough to be married in my mind, then I'm old enough to carry out these vows now that he needed me. The second thing is, God will take us on rides that we have no idea how we're going to get out of them. But that lands us in a place where he can push us into our purpose. So I share this story and I'm not afraid to share it. I'm totally fine with sharing my story because I had to go through that in order for God to put me on the path that he's put me on. Because out of that situation came the birthing of the home care business. That's where it was birthed from, that situation. And so, and the name of the company, Aikens Helping Hands, that is my marriage name at that time. That was his last name.
Wow.
And so, in honor of him and his life, and then our daughter, that's our daughter together, my current husband now is the one who said, why not just name it after him?
Wow.
You know, and he's right, because me going through that situation with him, and I cared for him for 7.5 years at home. 7.5 years. So all of my 20s, I devoted to taking care of my husband and our daughter, just making sure our household was as whole as I could make it after what had happened. But if it was not for that situation, Aiken's Helping Hands would not be. It would not exist. So that
Wow.
is the space. God had to put me in that space so that I could learn everything I needed to learn and then be able to birth the business to help other families, to help other people. I'm just the vessel that he chose to use. My family, we were just the ones that God chose to use, but that situation was not for us. It was for the families that we continue to serve.
I know it was difficult. I know it was challenging. I have been a caregiver too. I'm always talking to people about caregiving, about being there for families, because so many people are just not.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that message to remind people, be there. One of the things that I also tell people when I'm talking to them, because they talk about how they want to meet someone, how they want to date someone, is have conversations like this. Find out, will they be willing to be there? Because not everybody will be there. Right. There are some people that have left when things happen and they were not willing to make the sacrifices that you made for those 7 years. So I always tell people, have those conversations and ask people about those necessary questions when you meet someone to make sure they're going to be there for you. So that's amazing that you did that. And the second thing that's amazing is you named it after him, and your current husband saw the importance in that. Mm-hmm. There was no envy, there was no jealousy, there was nothing. He understood that you started this because of what you went through in that season of your life, and that you wanted to leave a legacy for him, for your daughter.
Yes.
So that's very powerful too. And that's great communication. So can you speak to that for a minute? How that made you feel when your current husband gave you that idea and then was okay with it? And what would you say to couples out here in a situation like this about the importance of that?
Yeah. So I let me just say that my current husband right now is my first husband. I thought, I would never find another, person. I thought that was it. But then God blessed me with this wonderful man of God, right? He doesn't get caught up on the things of the past, right? But he made it to me and my daughter. He's like, you don't have to hide that part of your lives. That was your husband. That was your dad. Wow. I'm not stepping in to take his place or erase his memory. I'm not stepping in to, make my daughter forget about her dad. And so when he came in and took that stance, it was I still can't explain it, but I knew I needed that. If I didn't have the support that I have from him, a lot of the things that I do, I would not be able to do it. And so I brought the idea to him all excited. I just didn't have a name. I didn't know what to name the agency. And he gave me that. And it's like, well, that was a part of your life. You wouldn't have the vision, or God wouldn't have given you the vision without you going through that situation. So it's only right. And he was absolutely right. It's only right that I name it after him. And I'm not ashamed to let people know that is where the name Aikens came from. A lot of people is like, you Wofford, your name before then was Williams. So how did you? That is how I got it. I was an Aikens when I was married the first time. And so I just took his last name and Aikens Helping Hands, because that's what we're doing. We're helping all of the people that has come, all of the families that we are able to serve and service. That's what we're doing.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Out of all your businesses, that is the business that is your 7-figure business. Am I correct?
That is the 7-figure. Yes.
So see what God did? Do you see what God did?
Yes.
Wow. Man, he took that and multiplied it because you made the sacrifices and you did that, and you honored your husband's memory. So now, wow. How did it make your daughter feel? Does she talk about it ever sometime?
She does. And this always makes me get so, my heart just smiles. So my daughter's a nurse. She's an RN, and she is the agency's RN. So she's We work together. And
Yes.
so, but what she told me when she first told me she wanted to go to nursing school, she told me that she wanted to be for other people what she saw me be for her dad.
Wow.
And it wasn't until then that I realized, I said, God, you gave me a 2-for-1. And what I mean by that is he put me on a path to show me my purpose and gave my daughter hers too.
Wow.
And so that's why
Wow.
I said I can't be upset about anything that happened, because look what God did. He took that traumatic situation and turned it into something that I could never have imagined. My yes over 20 years ago is what birthed where we are right now.
Wow.
And
And
that's
so,
only God.
wow. So once this got off the ground, everything went well, and you started to run your business. When did you know that you were ready to create more businesses, and how did that process go for you? Because you just successful at all of it. Did you go to school? Did you go to training? What happened to make you into this serial entrepreneur and so successful?
So during the 7.5 years when I was a primary caregiver and a wife and a mother, I really could not do anything, right? And so I had all of these things that I wanted to do, and it's just like God used that time to develop me in so many ways. And when the time came, I just wrote my visions down as he gave them to me. I call them downloads. When he give me a download, I wrote them down. And I just stuck with it until I was able to get them all checked off and get everything started. And that's just, I take this as God giving me a second chance at life, because I didn't have one. Well, I had one, but it was me dedicating it to make sure my husband and my daughter had everything they need. So I dedicated all of my time for 7.5 years to them, making sure they were okay. And just that's what my focus was. And so when the time came for me to branch out and build, I just did it. And so I'm always taking classes in every area, because I always want to have the most knowledge so I can help. And the classes that I take is it all encompasses everything that I do.
Yes.
Um, every single thing that I do, even down to writing the books. I never knew I was gonna be a 6-time best-selling author. I didn't know that. I was never even gonna share my story, but that was something that God told me to share. And when He told me to share it, I was so afraid of what they were gonna say. I wrote it and sat on it for years.
Wow.
And then it was like he just would not let it up. Like, you're not gonna get out of this, is what I got God saying to me. And when he said, all I need you to do is write the book, I'll take care of the rest. And that's how I started writing. I shared my story, every
Wow.
part of my story. Don't and it was he I heard it clear. Don't make it pretty. Don't take out the ugly parts. Share it all. And so that's what I did. So I feel
So,
like if God can bring me from where He brought me, He showed me that He got me. So whenever I get these visions or these ideas, they're not mine. They're
mhm,
downloads from God.
mhm.
When He give it to me, He got purpose for me. He want me to move with it, not just sit on it. And there's no way He's going to let me fail. If He brought me through what He brought me through when I was 21, it's nothing in this world that I can't do or I can't face, because I know that God is going to carry me through it the same way He did then.
Wow. So 6-time best-selling author for the anthology project Blessed Not Broken, Volume 1. Then you have your solo project, Pain Equals Purpose. And you just described that right there, how you went through that pain and you developed it into purpose with creating the Aiken, what's the name of it? Let me get it right.
Aiken's Helping Hands.
Yeah, creating Aiken's Helping Hand, named after your late husband. So that's where you turn the pain into purpose. All right.
Yes.
Then you have an anthology that you wrote with some other people, Igniting Your Purpose. Okay. The 90 Days of Biblical Affirmations for Christian Women in Business and Ministry. Then you have the Love, Business, Marriage, and Becoming Her. My goodness. And Becoming Her, all of which can be purchased. And y'all write it down. Y'all write it down. You can purchase all these books. Somebody put it in the chat for me. You can purchase them all at www.mrslashondawofford.com. www.mrslashondawofford.com. Now, we're in an age in 2024 where you probably can just put her name up there, and you probably don't even have to put the www anymore, because a lot of times you can just get away with that. Now, back in 2022, you were the Archie Award Public Service winner, and you were the recipient of the 2023 Trailblazer Award from the School of the Great Commission Theological Seminary. Wow. Then in 2023, you were also the Author of the Year for your solo book project. So, my goodness, people can't help but recognize you because you've done so much, and all of it came out of your pain. So let's talk about that for a moment. You said, don't make it pretty. You said, don't leave anything out. There's somebody listening to this right now that is suppressing whatever it is they're going through. They are ashamed, and they are not telling everything about what's happening in their life. What are you saying to that person right now? What are you saying to them about how they need to let it out, and how they need to contact you to help them get through this process?
Yeah. So the first thing I tell people is forgiveness. That's the first thing. A lot of times when we hold on to unforgiveness, it keeps us stuck. It doesn't allow us to see the benefit of what forgiveness can do for us, because it's for us. And then when you learn to forgive, whether it's you yourself that you need to forgive or whomever has caused you harm, you need to forgive. Once you do that, then you're able to make peace with your story, all parts of your story.
Wow.
Because you no longer fear being ashamed. You no longer worry about what people are going to say. Because one thing we got to know when we share our stories is it's not for everybody. My story ain't for everybody, and I know that. But there are some people who, the minute I wrote my story and published it, they got their breakthrough. Because our obedience is somebody's breakthrough is always dependent on our obedience. And so we have to learn and know that it's not about us. Even though we're the ones that went through, even though we're the ones who, suffered and felt the pain, it's not about us. It's about getting through the journey that God has taken us on, and then reaching back, pulling those other people that's stuck in that very place. And when you think about it from that way, you can move through anything.
Wow. Make peace with your story. So hold on a minute. I want to share a couple of things right quick. So is that where this comes into play? All Bets on Me Academy. When did this come about? And talk to me about how they can attend this academy and it can help them to get through all these challenges they go through in life.
So All Bets on Me Academy came because I want to show people what it does, what you can do when you bet on yourself. And so I already had an All Bets on Me that already belonged to me. So when I decided to do the school, then it's like, let's just keep that name. Because when you make up in your mind that you're gonna, get certifications, or you're gonna take different classes, that means that you're choosing to bet on yourself. And so at the All Bets on Me Academy, we're doing personal development and professional development, because no matter what happens, you've got to always remember to bet on yourself. And that is how the academy came about, because I've been I am a international and nationally accredited life coach and instructor. So that is where the academy came from.
Okay, so if
I wanted to have a place for all of those people that I've already certified and that continues to come for certification. So we just made it an academy.
Okay, so if someone is interested in joining the academy, do you have some more classes coming up soon where they can get signed up, and how can they sign up?
So we have an All Bets on Me Academy page on Facebook, and that is where we put updates on upcoming classes. The links to register is there. The link for the school is there. So that if you want to just go on and look over the school, you can do that. And then our Christian counselor course is there. Our Christian mental health certification course is there. So that's totally online. Everything is online. I come in once a week, once they get started, to do a live so that I can answer whatever questions or just kind of be there so they don't feel like they're taking a bunch of classes online, being alone.
Okay, so they can go to Facebook to look up All Bets on Me
Academy. We have a page there. It's public, so it's not private. You can see it. And then all updates are there, because it's hard to kind of keep up with all the individual messages and emails. And so I just put everybody over there, and that's where the team, we make sure that the current updates are there.
Okay. So make sure you write it down, take a screenshot. All Bets on Me Academy. That's where you want to go to make sure that you get that information. All right. And is their preferred method when they do need to reach out to you? Is it a phone number or a website or an email that you prefer that people reach out to you?
So they can, if they on the Facebook page, they can always send an inbox. Somebody from the team will get back with them. Or they can always send email. If they go to my website, then all of the contact information is there.
And that was your name, Dr. Lashonda.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now let's talk about what it means to be a serial entrepreneur and have multiple businesses like you do, and being successful and being married. There has to be a formula for that, because a lot of times you don't have time to devote to one another as a couple. Can you speak to that for a moment? How to be successful, be married, and make it work?
Yes, absolutely. So my secret is I'm a wife first. And so me and my husband, we have this agreement. When we need time for each other, everything stops. I tell him, okay, baby, we need some alone time, or vice versa. He'll come and say, okay, baby, I planned XYZ for us, so I need your calendar clear on these days. And that's just what we do. And so that helps us stay grounded with each other. And then, like I said, I'm a wife first. Like, I'm not going to sacrifice my marriage to build a business just to be by myself.
Wow. So no questions asked. What if it's during the time when you got a girlfriend's trip or you have something planned? I
don't have girlfriend's trips.
You have to speak at an engagement. You plan something on your calendar. Do you change it?
So, and that's the thing. He knows what I have already. He's not going to plan something with that on a day when he knows that, like, when somebody asks me to come speak, more than likely we're going to go together. Because then we just use that time as a trip away for us. So for instance, we fly out tomorrow morning. We're going to go to Connecticut because I have to speak at the Claim Your Throne conference. And so we're going to go together to that. I speak, we're there, but then that also serves as us getting away and getting time to ourselves.
Wow, let's talk about that. The conference. Let me see, which one is that?
The Claim Your Throne conference.
I tell you, she got a lot going on, y'all. I got to
Well,
find that one. So
yeah,
not that one.
that's a good one too. That's
okay. Let's talk about this one though. So, Claim Your Throne is
yes.
hosted by Catherine Latoya Grant Austin, and if you're interested, it's www.claimthrone.com. And so you're scaling dreams into 7-figure realities. So, are you a speaker here, or are you just attending?
Yes, I am a speaker at this event.
Are tickets still available?
They're available until tonight. Today is the last night. Ticket sales end tonight. Yes. Yes,
Wow.
but I am a speaker. So, and that's what I'm saying. When I'm asked to go speak, my husband will he would have never put something on the calendar for us to do and expect me to cancel it. We just make it into a trip that we both are going to go to and travel to.
Okay. I see somebody here called Travis Wofford.
That's my husband. Yes.
I kind of figured
that is my husband. Yes.
Look at that. Boy, look at here. Talk about support. He came up on the live and the podcast to show support. See, brother, you must have heard your name mentioned. The timing was impeccable, for real, for real. So that is great.
Yeah.
You know, kudos to you for being an example. Does he give any type of workshops for the men?
So yes, that is in the works. Empower Her is a coaching group that I have for women. It started out being for the women who I certify, and then just having them a place to go to build their business. Because I tell people all the time, it's easy. I can certify people all day, every day, but I don't want to drop them. What happens now that you want to build your business? And so that my husband will take that piece where he'll have for the men, because I've certified men as well. And so now it's not just women. So he's in the process of building something now out for the men. And so they can have a space to go to, and he can, help them build, just like we have with the Empower Her.
Wow. So if someone wants you to speak, you're available.
I am.
You're available, because I saw some of the other pictures that we had here, some other things you have coming up. And I see that one of them, what's this right here? It's My Sister's Keeper. This is on March 15th. Now talk to me about this one right here. What's this?
So My Sister's Keepers Retreat, it is going to be amazing. It's hosted by Tiffany McIntosh.
And I know her. I know both of them. They used to be in business. We used to be in the same business. So I'm very familiar.
So her and her husband, it started out being a My Sister's Keepers Retreat, but then Tiffany, they decided to step it up a notch. And so now we have the My Sister's Keeper and the My Brother's Keeper. So it's combined all together in one, so that when we go to a retreat, most of the time you see women, we're going to conferences and we're getting inspired and empowered, and we come back and it's like, okay, the energy don't match because the husbands are not in the room. You have to be in the room. So they decided to do a My Sister's Keeper and a My Brother's Keeper. So I am being honored at that retreat with the My Sister's Keeper Award. I don't know who nominated. I do not know, but thank you so much. I was just sent the email and reached out to, saying that I'm going to honor you. So we will definitely be there. Not only is it this is for families. It's for women, wives, husbands. The children are even invited to come. So my family will be there. My daughter, my husband, my grandson will be there. My sister and her husband, and a few other women from my Empower Her group. We're gonna be there to support and just help push that event, because I think it's important, and I think it's powerful when you not only help the wives or the moms, but when you also create a space for the family as a whole, the wife, the husband, and the children. So I can only imagine the breakthroughs that's going to come from that. So we will definitely be there March the 15th through the 17th.
I have heard Tiffany's story.
Yes,
and I know his story. So they have a story for sure. So when I saw them on the flyer, I said, look here, it's a small world. That is amazing. I'm happy to see that they are doing what they're doing and sharing their story and getting out there for more people. Now, the other conference tomorrow, that's a dear friend of yours that you have. And
Yeah,
so you're
that
not
is
only
my biz bestie. That is my biz bestie. Yes. So absolutely, when she called for me to be a speaker, I am there. I am definitely there. And she knows, it's not. We're talking about scaling your dreams to seven-figure realities, right? We are, but there's a lot that comes with that. Yes, it's the seven figures. Yes, it's everything you see is nice, but there's another side to that people don't see. The struggles behind it and the warfare, the other attacks, and just the different things that come with when you are, scaling your business, and when you are at the seven-figure mark or trying to get there. So it's a lot of trials and challenges, but I want to go speak to those entrepreneurs who are trying to get to the seven-figure mark, because I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made my way around different hurdles. And so I want to be transparent and share with them tips and tools that they can use that will lessen the blows that they have to have, because I've already gotten a beating. So they don't have to go down the same road that I have, travel and make the same mistakes. I've done it. I figured out what I need to do different, and now I can share that with them. So that's really what it's all about, just helping other entrepreneurs get to where we are.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and there's whiners and there's winners.
Mm-hmm.
And winners choose to be winners. Winners take responsibility for their thoughts, their feelings, and actions that produce the circumstances.
Right.
And they're not dwelling in the circumstances and stuck there, because yes, we all going to have disappointments. We're all going to have things that happen that take us through, and we get discouraged and we get setbacks and all that, but we have to come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to get around people like this, and you shift your mindset, you can't help but grow. So I think it's amazing that you are definitely going to have a conference where you're letting people do that, because you can have what you want, but if you whining all the time, then you can't.
That's right.
So what book is it that you read that really helped you to change your mindset, Dr. Wofford?
I have read so many books on mindset. If I had to pick one, it would be nine-figure mindset. Nine-figure mindset. And I also would say it's the I cannot TD Jakes has one. Yeah, nine-figure mindset. And TD Jakes has one. I cannot think of the name of that one.
Let's talk about these figures for a minute. A lot of time people be like, I want a six-figure man. I want to make six figures. Then you have the seven figures and the eight figures and the nine figures. And I tell people, before you start desiring these, you better know how to count them. You need to know how to make it and count. If you can't count to it, then God's not going to bring you to it. He's not going to give it to you if you can't balance it in the bank account, because you're going to mismanage the fund. So when you started realizing that you were going to be up there making 6 and 7 figures and going on to 8 and 9 figure endeavors, did you do something first to prepare yourself for that?
Absolutely. I changed. So I have a financial coach, and I have a business coach. And so I knew where I wanted to go. I just needed, the guidance to get me there. I knew I already had what it takes to get there, which was the business. It was already built. It was already doing great before then. And so that is what I did. And then the other thing that I did was I hired additional help. A lot of times we want to do everything ourselves, and we are not in the CEO seat. when I got back in the CEO seat and stuck to everything that I had planned out for the year for the business, it made a big difference, a huge difference. Because while I'm over here billing, doing payroll, answering this phone that sometimes don't never stop, and all of these other things that I can hire somebody else to do, I'm wasting time. Because I have to get over here in this CEO seat, and I have to do the things to build the business, the money making task, which is I need to be the one to go sit across from other people to show them why their facility need to use our agency to come in and help with staffing, why hospitals and doctor offices need to use us and refer us, their clients, to us for the in-home care. Like, nobody can go negotiate and get contracts for my business better than I can. So I gave up all of those things that I was doing that we could have easily hired somebody else to do, and stayed in the CEO seat. And that's where I've been. And that's the difference. Because there are certain tasks that only I can do.
Wow. Now, I noticed that you and your husband are also members of MtZion AME Zion Church in Eastover, North Carolina. And you're proud members of the Sigma. I want to say that right. How you say that name? Sigma Chi? Sigma?
Or Sigma Chi Sigma Sorority.
So
that
Sigma
my husband's
Chi
not.
Sigma Sorority Incorporated, based out of Georgia also. Now, how much of an influence did these organizations and churches have in your growth and success?
So my business was already successful before the organization. And now church always that it's just, it's in me, right? And you can't take it. You just can't take it out. And I'm not asking for anybody to take it out, but the church definitely is a safe space for me, right? It's a safe space for us. And we love it because it's small. We don't like those big mega churches where, you know, we don't know the pastor, we've never seen them. We like the smaller churches like MtZion. It feels homey every time. It felt like that from the very first time we walked in there. And so we love it. But I mean, like I said, the business we already had, you know, prior to the church and the organization. So I'm not going to say I can't say that they played a role in the success of it, because we were already scaling 6, almost at 7 figures when we became members of MtZion, and when I became a member of the sorority.
So if anybody's watching this right now and they want to shift, where do they begin?
You mean shift like their life?
Shift
like
their business. They want to scale their business. They want to have success. Where do they begin?
So the first thing is everything starts in your mind. I saw the business before it was tangible. I saw everything that I do. I was able to see it in my head first, and I felt like it was right here. I could just reach out and touch it. So you have to see it, because that means you believe it. You have to believe it before you can do anything else. And then the other thing that you have to do is don't be afraid of the work. You can't say, I want a 6 or 7 figure business, but you sleep till 11 o'clock in the morning. Like, how that's not going to work. Or you have stipulations on what you can and cannot do. Where you got to work for it. It's not going. You can. God gives us the vision. We pray about it. We write it down. We make it plain. But you have got to put action behind all of that.
Okay, so now as we get ready, because I know I don't want to keep you too long, but I just got to ask these questions. A lot of people struggle with trying to take people with them, and they struggle with carrying around dead weight. Can you talk about that for a moment? Everybody can't go with you. So you can't take everybody with you. You can't hire everybody. You can't bring everybody to the business with you. And how to get rid of that dead weight.
So the first thing is this. I teach people to understand exactly that. Everybody can't go with you. They're not going to go with you. And you have to be okay with that. So when God starts elevating and moving you, there's going to be people that's going to be left. And that's just the reality of it. And that's not saying anything bad about those people, and it doesn't make you a bad person. You got to keep moving. You have to keep moving because that is what God has called you to do. He did not call us to stay stagnant. He did not call us to be without finances. He did not call us to be stuck in this place of pain and hurt. That's not what he called us to. And so understanding that makes it easier for you to move. Now, is it going to sting when you start seeing the people fall off? Yes, but leave them. Either they're going to be able to come up to where you are, or you're going to have to leave them there. And guess what? You make room for the ones that can stand being where you are. If you keep trying to hold on to everybody, and you know the ones that God has told you and showed you can't go. You know it. Everybody does. We all know. They can't go. They cannot go. Don't try to hold on to them, because what you end up doing is they're taking up the space, and God can't send the ones who is supposed to be there and meet you at your new level.
Wow. That's good. Now, if you had to go back and tell your younger self something to redo or to change from when you first began all these business endeavors, what would that be? What would you change?
The one thing I would go back and tell myself would be, God gave me the vision. And so whoever don't see it or can't see it, that's not on me. Keep moving. And I would tell myself not to expect anybody else to be able to see the vision and believe in it the way that I can. Again, he showed me the vision. So I can't expect for other people to see it. And if they can't see it, they're not going to support it. But you have got to be okay with that, and you got to keep moving.
And everybody's not going to agree. Everybody's not going to, they're just not going to see it.
That's right.
And would you say that you have to be careful who you share it with also?
Absolutely. You can't share. It's certain things, and not trying to be funny, I learned a while back, it's certain things I just can't share with anybody. And that is where the community comes in at. That is why it's so important to have community, to build that as you're building. You need to connect with like-minded individuals. You need to go get you a mentor. Like, it's okay. That's the only way, because as entrepreneurs, we experience things that other people won't understand. And so we're creating more hurdles, and we create different aches and pains by trying to share things with people who will not get it. They just cannot.
Wow. So I know I've been asking you a lot of questions. If there was a message that you want to get out that I haven't asked you about, what would you want the people to say about you? What is the message that when they bring up your name and somebody says, man, have you met that Dr. Lashonda Wofford? What do you want them to say?
I would just like for them to just say, have you met Dr. Wofford? Like, just to think she's a great person. Like, I don't care about all the accolades, the titles. Like, it's here. It's here. And this is what drives me to do everything else that I do. So when my name comes up, I'm hoping that it's a conversation that can be had from the person who sees my heart and really knows who I am, not just what you see, like the glitz and the glam.
Yes.
Because it goes way beyond that. It does. You're not gonna get glitz and glamour if you're a nasty person.
No.
If you're a mean person. If you know you got an attitude problem, like that's not going to come. That is some self-development that you need to go handle before you can think about accolades and all the other things that comes with this type of territory. So just a person that, you know, people can feel like they can come to, you know, for guidance, mentorship. Now, this is the other thing. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear.
Uh-oh.
So I tell people all the time, if you're looking for a coach or a mentor, and my women in the Empower Her, they know this. If you're looking for somebody to tell you what sound good and what you want to hear versus when you out of line and that's not right, I'm not the coach for you. I'm not the instructor for you. And Empower Her would not be a good fit for you if that's the type of person that you're looking for. I want to help set people up for success, not failure. And you can't tell people that what they're saying or what they're doing is right when it's not.
And there you have it. She's not going to sugarcoat it. She's not going to hold back. So don't call her if you're not ready for the truth. You know, the word cuts like a sword, you know, and she's coming to you with it. She had the word in her. She just told you that it's in her. So that's why it cuts like that.
Now, I'm not going to be rude or disrespectful. I'm just saying I'm not the yes one. I'm not the yes coach.
Right. No. Yes. We know that. We know that you're not going to be disrespectful. What we're saying is sometimes we have those friends that will let you go out. You know, you had some people that will let you go out looking any kind of way, or they'll do something. You saying you're going to get them straight. You're going to let them know. You're not going to tell them what they want to hear, period.
That's right.
It might hurt their feelings, but they'll thank you later. That's it.
Right.
You know, that's it. You know, when you're not working, what are you doing? When you're not working, when you're taking some me time and you just having a day to yourself, what is Lashonda doing? When Dr. Wofford puts the hat off and Dr. Wofford is there and it's just Lashonda, what does Lashonda do?
I read. I may sit down and watch. I'm not a big TV watcher. But every now and then I'll sit down and watch TV. But for the most part, I just like quietness. I like quietness. I love to FaceTime with my grandbabies. And me and my husband, we might decide we're gonna jump in the car. Sometimes we don't even know where we're going. We might just decide last minute, let's go do whatever. And it's like, okay, those are the things that I like to do. I will, you know, we'll jump in the car and go visit my parents, take them to lunch, and, you know, just stuff like that. That's what I like to do when I'm not working. And by the way, I'm off every Wednesday. I don't do no work on Wednesdays.
Okay, so that's a tip. People need to understand. Have some time off. Schedule time off where you don't do anything. That's important. That's important. Wow. Anything I haven't asked you that you would like to share with the people that are watching, that will watch and come back and do the replay in regards to anything you have coming up, or just anything that we did not touch base on?
So I would like to just tell people to be on the lookout. I have an anthology project coming out, but I am the visionary this time, not just a contributing author. So it's about breaking generational curses and generational patterns, because I think that is important. So that will be coming out. We're in the editing phase of that. So be on the lookout for that. I have Marketplace Mogul, which is also an anthology that I am a contributing author on. And then we also have Girl Let That Go, which is another anthology. So I did a lot of this writing was last year, but they're just, you know, going to be coming out this year. So just stay on the lookout for that. That will be all I will want to, you know, share, other than what you've already shared.
Wow. Man, I just thank you for being willing. You know, a lot of times they say to whom much is given, much is required, right? And some people, they get the assignment, but they don't understand it. I can see that you truly do understand the assignment, and that you do it with joy and happiness, and that you look forward to seeing other women come up, and change. And I'm sure there's many that have testimonies on how you've helped them change their lives. And I look forward to going through the academy and taking some certifications too. It was very impressive. I enjoyed the conversation I had with you. So I just thank you for everything that you're doing and all the things you have coming up, because it's needed. It's needed, out here for sure. And I will make sure that I'll tell everybody out here, if you have not checked it out. And then what's that? He said, chopping it up with the Wofford.
Yes, I'm sorry, baby. So yes,
Uh-oh.
chopping it up with the Wofords is so my husband, that's what he wanted us to do. So we as a couple, we go live every other Tuesday evening. We also have a YouTube channel. And that's just where we get on there. He picked the topics. I'm the guest. I tell him all the time, I'm the guest, because this is, what he committed to, and I'm okay with that. So it's really where we get on and we talk about different topics. It's interactive. And we love for other people to join, and we have people that join us every other Tuesday in the comments. They ask questions, give feedback on whatever subject we're talking about. Most of the time, I don't know the subject until we actually are live.
Okay. Well, I'd love to have y'all as a guest. Mr. Wofford, I'd love to have the two of you as a guest.
Yes.
I have to do the show I was doing with the young man, Mr. Anthony Wade, and we haven't come back up there yet. But we wanted to actually talk to couples. How long have y'all been married?
14 years.
Okay, so that would be good. So we need some people, because there's a lot of single people out here that need some direction. They need to hear from people that is working, especially couples that are in business. I see Darlene out there. That would be a good one. The Queen Tech, her and Maurice would be good. We want to hear from some people who have been together that can give some of these ladies some tips. So since y'all know each other, maybe that might be good. I might need to get the four of y'all on to really share some things for the ladies and for the men, because I think the ladies, they need to see examples and really know that it is possible.
Right.
How did you meet your second husband?
So I met him through my sister. She actually knew him already. I didn't know him. So that's how we met, going out to celebrate her birthday.
Okay.
And he came.
Okay.
Yeah.
So see, y'all, you can meet people through family and friends sometimes. So, sometimes y'all looking out here on these dating sites and stuff, and it might be right there in your inner circle. Okay. So just be on the lookout in the inner circle, and somebody might introduce you to someone. Yeah. Listen, I want to thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Wofford, for participating. And he said to be honored. I would be honored as well to have you. I just appreciate the support that you're showing for your wife here. That is leading by example to the brothers, because a lot of time you don't see that much. So that's a blessing that he's here. That's a major statement. That is a major statement. So I thank you so much for that. And I'm going to look for that channel, Chopping It Up with the Woffords. Y'all look at it. Go follow them. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Chopping It Up with the Woffords.
Okay, so that's the actual name of the channel and the show.
And
the channel and the show, and it's on Tuesdays.
Yeah, every other Tuesday. So next Tuesday we'll be back on, and we usually go on about 7:30.
Is that first and third or second and fourth?
I don't know how it falls. It's just every other.
Okay. Yeah. So y'all just kind of do it every other.
Yeah, every other Tuesday. But we'll I always now lately I've been posting flyers because people been asking, is this the week y'all go live? So I'll post to our social media, and my husband been doing it too, posting to let everybody know when the Tuesday is. Yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, man, it's been my pleasure to be here today. I want to thank everybody who came here. If you came by because Dr. Wofford or me, follow both of us for everything that we have going on, and be supportive. Let's be supportive to one another. Here on Storytime, my mission is to help people to get their story out, to share whatever it is you have going on. If you have some people out there that you are impacting, contact us, send us a DM and tell us, hey, I have a story. And then we can get you on here too. And I most definitely have enjoyed talking to you. I love how you shared what happened with your first husband. I love how you shared the testimony with your daughter and her becoming a nurse. So many valid things that were relatable to our audience. And I hope that y'all did get something out of each thing that she shared. And most definitely would love to just have you and your husband come and just learn from the both of you, because y'all are doing amazing things in the entrepreneur world. So any closing comments for our viewers?
Closing comments would be to just keep moving forward, y'all. Like, life happens to us all, but just understand that everything is for a reason. Even though you can't see it, even though the pain sometimes outweighs a lot, just know that there is no way that God will put you on a path and lead you nowhere. So remember that no matter what, you have to continue to bet on yourself and continue to trust God and know that He's got you no matter what.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from Dr. Lashonda Wofford. You see her website right there, www.mrslashondawofford.com. Go check her out. Go visit her on Facebook and make sure you find out about the All Bets on Me Academy and get more information on how you can register and get involved. Okay. She is a successful 7-figure business owner of one of her business, one of many, successfully married, parent, grandmother, so you definitely want to get with her. Multiple books. When I was looking at these awards, and I'm going to say this in closing, when I was looking at these award nominations, the nominations, now, I don't really get into a whole lot of titles and stuff either, but the nominations were powerful. Nominated for the God Made Millionaire Award, nominated for the Woman to Watch, nominated for the Game Changer, and Author of Influence. I was like, man, wow. You are definitely out here doing the work. Like you said, don't be afraid of the work. You're doing the work. So God bless you. I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you coming and giving me this much of your time. And I hope that you enjoyed this time as much as I did.
I did. Thank you so much for having me. I certainly appreciate it. And me and my husband would be honored to come back. You just let us know when.
Yes, ma'am. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take a few moments to show you these flyers one more time as I let Dr. Wofford go on, because we kept her long enough. And we definitely appreciate you and send you with Godspeed. We're going to let you see once again what she has coming up. Don't forget to check her out. Blessings and peace to you, Dr. Wofford. God bless you. We look forward to doing some things with you, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Have a good one. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes. I want to take a moment just to show y'all these banners again, because I mean, you have to see what she has coming up. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I need you to, if you're in the area, go check it out. She's going to be there. She's going to be an honoree right there in this area, and you don't want to miss the opportunity to be able to meet her in person. She has a lot of things coming up, which is a good thing, because that may make her in the city near you. All right. This one is in Orlando, Florida. All right. So check it out. Take a screenshot and go see her if you can. All right. That on March 15th and 16th, 15th through the 17th. And you also see these people here that's going to be there. So this is just another flyer. Ray Hagen. Ray, I think he pronounced his name Higgin. And we've heard his name, Ty Tribbett. If you've never seen Ty Tribbett in a concert, you want to check this out, because he is something. Cynthia Bailey. Oh, my goodness. I love Cynthia Bailey. Wow. And like I said, Tiffany and Calvin, they have a great story. So this is going to be really, really, really something good. Okay. And make sure tomorrow, if you're in the area, look for Dr. Lashonda at the Claim Your Throne. All right, scaling dreams into 7 business. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, she's out there. She's making it happen. She's supporting her good friend, Catherine Latoya Grant, okay, Austin. And she's going to be there speaking for her good friend. That's what you call showing up and supporting your friend. Ladies and gentlemen, and last but not least, go check her out on Facebook for the All Bets on Me Academy. I'm your girl, Crystal Bodie Smith. Once again, I'm saying thank you for coming through. We will have a few changes taking place with story time. All right, effective on March 11th. We're going to do some things to make sure we spread the love on all the platforms. And so be on the lookout for that information on how you can do that. And as we said earlier, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. We do. My name is Crystal, and my mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. So if you watch any of our story time episodes, please send us a comment and let us know what you thought. And don't forget to send me a DM if you have a story too. All right. Thank you for watching. I'm the girl, Crystal Bodie Smith. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save life. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Keep hope alive.